Aloha, I'm Felicia Miller Johnson, and I conduct work life video interviews with career professionals that become an all intuitive conversation. Aloha, and welcome to another episode of All Intuitive Conversation. I'm Felicia Miller Johnson. As an all intuitive executive and life coach, I encourage people to live smart and ascend to new levels of success in their work and life. So today I have the pleasure of connecting with Santa. So let's bring her to the screen. Aloha, Santa.
Aloha.
How are you this morning?
I am well. Yeah, it's a new day.
Awesome.
Mhm.
Well, let me just say I love your background.
Oh,
With the wood textures and the plants and just your colors and your crystal necklaces. So tell me more about your environment. Like, tell me about this.
hmm. Well, since the beginning of COVID, I had to move my practice to my home
Mm.
and create a space at home. So I am very much into spaces, Felicia, curating spaces, having the space feed me, support me.
Yeah.
So I love plants. I love life, things that are alive, and so hence the plants. And I use all kinds of crystals in my practice. They're everywhere,
Yes.
right? And it's too bad that I have to. I'm just collecting crystals. I have, and these are just the ones that are in this office. But as a holistic psychotherapist, my thing is to turn people on to many things that I have experienced with the hope that they will find what works for them. And I love my crystals. Like this,
Yes.
they cool me off, right? So, but then they have all these qualities. So the space, I have picture. Here's something you may want to see that you can't see. This is
Oh.
of it, Mr. Rudy, who passed away maybe 15 years ago, and
Mm.
my baby picture.
That's you?
This is little Santa. Yes.
Oh, like how old are you in this picture? Like two?
I think so. It's hard. Well, I'm at least one because it's
Mm-hmm.
dedicated to my mother in 1962, and I was born 1961. So it may be one.
Love that. That's so cute. Thank you for sharing that.
It's what supports me. I have to have my support so I can do the work, right?
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. So it's interesting because like I said, I do have Chris. This is the one that is resonating with me today that I have is
The dream.
the golden healer quartz.
Ah,
Yes, I have this one today. But then the one that was connecting me to you today was this one.
ooh, I love it.
Was the pink agate, which is
Mm,
interesting because when you show me your baby picture, typically, back in the day it was, we would have the pink
mhm, mhm,
for a girl. And then it was interesting because the card that came out was also a
mhm,
broken heart
mhm.
here. And the fact that you mentioned, and it's pink as well, the fact that you mentioned Rudy and the picture that was right next to you, like I said, because now they're right next side to side. Um, tell me about him.
Well, I think I'll tell you about dogs instead, Felicia.
Okay.
Um, Mr. Rudy is one of many dogs,
Mhm.
but he came into my life at a time when my dogs come into my life at times when I need them. And I don't know
Yes.
if I'm getting teary-eyed, but right now I have two dogs. I
Hmm.
have a huge, his name is Prince Duke.
Hmm.
Almost two. And then I have an Inzy Binzy, 10 pound. Duke is like 60 pounds. Inzy Binzy, 10-pound, 8-year-old Yorkie Poo. But they're giving me different things. Like I can carry Jordan. He's King Jordan on my,
Uh-huh.
right? He's like such a little infant. And then Duke is like, whoa, I'm here.
Yes.
And so Mr. Rudy, he's just a dog that I find that as I said, they come when I need them, and they come in stages, right? So I'm in a big transition. Well, maybe I'm coming out of the transition. I don't know. You'll tell me.
Hmm. Hmm.
But Mr. Rudy was with me for a very long time, and then he passed away. And I tell you, Felicia, it's the hardest thing I ever done. I never had to put a dog down. I've had dogs die, but I've never had to
Yeah.
put them down. And
Mm.
I took a week of bereavement over Mr. I've never even taken bereavement. And I'm 60, as I said already, and lots of family members, unlike other folks, I don't know, but everybody's gone except for a sister and a brother out of
Mm.
a family of 12,
Yeah.
right? So, but
Wow.
yet, Mr. Rudy putting him down, his death was harder than the death of my mom, the death of my father, my brother, my sisters, my aunts, my uncles. I mean, I was down. This was my
Hmm.
soul, right?
Hmm.
That loves you unconditionally. And this is not a dog show, and I'm not trying to
Yeah.
not
No,
dog.
this is about connecting and resonating with
Yeah,
what needs to be said and what needs to be kind of filtered through. Because, like I said, the fact that you could still be emotional and even crying to this part, like you said, because you died 15 years ago, it was something to be communicated
mhm,
and
mhm,
expressed with
mhm,
that.
mhm.
So, when did he come into your life?
He came into my life at a time when um, I had moved to the Eastern Shore of Virginia, leaving New York City, which is where
Mm.
I grew up, following a dream. And it didn't work. It just did not work. And
Mm.
um, it's one of the hardest time in my life because I'm a very spiritual person. And I had done everything you can think of to manifest this project, which was getting land and creating a healing space for women and children.
Mm.
And so I left that space after 2 years to move to the DMV, Maryland, DC, Virginia,
Mm-hmm.
and I needed a Rudy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And maybe 2 years after being in the new space, someone said, "We have these labs. Do you want one?" Someone in a class I went, and I drove to Ohio, and I picked up my dog.
Mm.
Picked me, right? So there goes, that healing that he brought to me, and he came to me also as a little pup. Um, Grew up to be an awesome adult, and so that's that, right? And now, um, Prince Duke, which is the bigger of the two dogs I have, I just left a relationship of 27 years. And so, again, somebody said, these poor dogs. Duke's from Puerto Rico, not
Oh.
from the Dominican Republic, but someone rescued dogs from Puerto Rico and yada,
Just
yada.
like from the storms and all that kind of stuff. Like,
Yeah,
did they?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so I have Duke at the time when I started a new life, right? And so
Mm-hmm.
that's how that goes. Jordan was the dog that came in when Rudy left us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when Rudy left.
Out to the transitioning. Okay, you got like three that just came out while you were sharing with that. Um so the one that came out before like Alex, I had the broken hearts, but I was sitting here waiting for this one. And it was talking about like this vision, this dream that you kind of had for your life, right? That you wanted. And it was like, okay, just a little bit of disappointment. But it was like, but was it really a disappointment?
No, mm-mm.
I was
Mm.
like, I'm not sensing that. I'm not sensing that. It
Well, it was
was where
Felicia. It was a heartbreak. I don't want anything to do with spirit. I don't want anything to do with anybody, right?
mm-hmm.
And then one day I woke up in the DMV and I realized, oh, Santa, you do have a healing center. It's just not on all this land. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I
you
mean, you
do.
have a community. You
I
have
have,
a community of ladies. It
yeah,
just like you said, it just didn't look like
what
how
I'm doing.
you right, what you initially thought that that was going to appear as, but that doesn't mean that you don't have it um in
Yes,
your in your life.
yes.
So And then even in the midst of what I'm hearing, like in the very beginning, what you were talking about your dogs and how they bring this whole life to you. The other one that came out you were talking about was like this whole relationship, right? 27 years, and you think, oh, this is my only kind of caring connections, but it's not. Like you said, you have other individuals, other communities, like I
Mhm.
said, the ladies and your dogs that are there for you. To which
Mhm.
ultimately, now the next picture is a lady by herself, but you still have
Victor.
victory
Mhm.
in your life. So the question that comes to mind now is, tell me, how are you victorious in your life?
Mm. I'm alive. I'm a
Yes.
survivor. Um, I keep growing and changing and meeting the challenge. I keep saying yes. Yeah.
Yes.
I'm a survivor of childhood sexual abuse. And oh, that's just one part of it, right? Grew up in a home where my father was a very functional alcoholic. My mother had major depression. Of course, these things weren't recognized, right? Um,
Mm,
they were just habits. My father was just a drunk, they said, right? Uh,
mm,
so I'm a survivor, Felicia. I just keep going. I keep saying yes. And today I have a very, what I would think, very successful private practice,
mm.
work for myself, and not to answering your question, I own a home for the second time.
Yes.
Um, I have everything I need. I just published a book. Who would have said? Like little me, little me.
Well,
So
well,
that's
of
why I'm
course.
victorious, it's because I recognize today, like, look at all of this. Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting because the little symbol here in the back just reminds me, the Greek mythology and the
Mhm.
Spartans and like just the whole like the Olympics and all those different things, and you have these athletes that come in and warriors and they're fighting and all these different things, but you are like victory with like grace. You're a golden, and it's so interesting because the card is laid out right next to back to the golden healer crystal that I had, which is usually connected, right here onto my right. And it's like you healed yourself from all these different things. But then not only did you take those situations, and now it sounds like you are helping others to
Mhm.
to heal. So tell me a little bit more about your practice and how you're helping others in serving.
Mhm. I specialize in trauma, and that is
Mm,
anything from trauma from, racism to trauma from sexual abuse, car accidents, whatever. But what comes to me is mostly people who come and say, "Oh, this is happening," and I feel, the impact. But way back in the roots, there's some sexual abuse, right? Some family
mhm,
dysfunction abuse. And so that's my specialty because of the way in which I did my own personal healing work. And I'm not healed. I'm still in that journey.
mhm.
I know that talk therapy was not enough for me. Yeah, you were going to say something. I tend to just talk, Felicia.
No, mm-mm. I'm flowing. I am flowing with you. You keep going.
Okay.
Mhm,
So, my healing journey, I needed so many different forms of healing. Talk was good for me to understand this wasn't your fault and to have someone reflect back what was going on or what
yes.
had happened. But I needed to use my body. I needed drums. I needed crystals. I needed yoga. And I seeked it, right?
Mm,
I just went to it. It wasn't like someone say, "Oh, Santa, here's a drumming class." No, I ended up being a djembe drummer, you know, because it fed me.
yes, the
Because it
vibrations.
yeah.
Yes.
And same with everything else I've done. I use essential oils, and so I don't even know what you asked me, but that's my practice. It's
No, it was how do you serve and how do you work? Because it came out, like I said, I got the energy that came out. So it's like basically you're healing this divine feminine energy um, that's within you. Because usually sometimes not when we're traumatized, it's some kind of hurt to our divine feminine. And everybody, whether we're showing up physically as a divine masculine or a divine um,
mm,
feminine,
mhm,
or they are your combination, you have those energies kind of within you. And usually when it's something that's wounded, from what I'm hearing, was that divine feminine energy that was wounded. Because, like I said, all your pictures, broken heart, all of the women coming through, and then there's the relationship that we talked about. But then now it's like, okay, she's like confident, but still like I'm still here, I'm still beautiful, the same like with this one, right? But I'm still powerful in that sense. So that's what was coming through and connecting um in that regard. So when you said that talk therapy wasn't enough for you,
Mhm.
there are individuals that, like, how did you know that you needed something more and had the confidence to do that? Because that is the other meaning of this crystal that I have for this meaning that you have for the pink agate,
Mhm.
was the self-doubt, and helps you build confidence from within. So how did you build that confidence from within to say, you know what, this is not enough for me, I need more? What was it for Santa to make that move?
Yeah, and the thing that I do now in my practice that I didn't mention is help people come back to their body, their
Mm,
soul, right? It's trauma just blows out the body and the awareness of our body, and we don't want to be in it, right? And so all the things that I practices that I was doing were things that were encouraging me to come back to my body. I can't claim I was courageous and I knew where to go. It was what my body needed, Felicia. The first
mm,
time I did what, some folks, there was this thing called dance kinetics back in the days.
mhm.
It's free dancing. Oh my God, I became a beast, right?
Yes.
But it was just, ugh, I just needed to jump and kick and whatever, right? So I never set out to say, oh, these are the things. I never read a book
Mm,
that said, do these things. I was just following what my body needed. My body needed to lay on the earth and just let go, or at a yoga mat, or right. So I was just following. I was just following intuitively,
yes.
following
Like,
what my body said it needed. Mhm. Mhm.
well, the next one that came out was talking about, I'm sure you're familiar with this, the third chakra
Yep.
and the solar plexus. And it literally says freedom of choice.
Yeah.
I have the freedom to choose, so I choose wisely because my decisions have a great impact on how I see myself and how
Mm,
I feel about myself.
mm,
I own, accept, and express my feelings unreservedly, like you said, like the whole kicking and screaming and shouting and all those different things. No reservations. And I
mm,
do not try to escape them with my own mind games. I have free will to choose how I respond to any situation. I choose to respond with wisdom, clarity, and understanding. It's
yeah,
like, and
right.
that fell like right under the community
Mhm,
um aspect of that. So the next question that's coming to mind is your community, your business, and having to adjust and changing all those different things. How do you see your business and operating, and what would you like in the next 7 months?
mm. I would like to see more book sales. I
Hmm.
would like to see book clubs. I would like to see um, people using the story, because it's the book. It's a memoir. It is my story. So people using that to find their own way of healing, right? To define what's working for them. Um, as I said, I do have a very full private practice, and I'm getting tired. Like, I can't, um, I need to figure out another stream of income, right? Because seeing 25 people a week, it's, I want more space. So I don't feel like I'm getting physically tired or emotionally tired. I'm ready for the next level, which is when Santa has fun and has plenty of time to lay on the dirt. It's been a while since I laid on the dirt, right? And
Hmm.
so I just see more space without compromising my income, because I'm it, you know. And, yeah, I don't take vacations paid. I don't take sick days paid. And so it's a little bit of a dilemma. Like, how do I shift?
Okay. So the energy that came through as you were talking, tapping into is like, what is Santa needing to do here? And you aligned with the hawk, and it's encouraging you to focus. And it says literally on this card,
Mm.
choose your priorities and eliminate all distractions.
Yeah. So I'm looking for little note paper because I need
Yes, I love that. Take the
to
notes.
remember the
As you're
hard.
doing that, I'm going to read a little bit of this because, like I said, it's like you're saying you have all these things you want. You want the book club, or you're wanting more book sales, and being this, tired. But it's like, what do you need to focus in? The hawk is going to focus in on certain things, and so it's encouraging you have to eliminate some of the distractions in your life. And it says here, choose your priorities and eliminate all distractions. Look at all the choices before you and select one to which you're willing to give your passionate attention. Once you decide, the right action to take becomes immediately apparent, and life supports you and provides what you need. You can arrange all your priorities around that which you've chosen. Set personal boundaries and practice self care when and where needed. So you need to go back to laying on the ground, girl. You need to go back to those things because those are the things that fueled you. Like I said, you've been talking about this, your space and the energy and living life. When you don't have that, your energy is drained.
Mhm.
And so that's what it's saying. They're calling you back, to that. If you don't, you can easily get overwhelmed and fragmented, and your power will become scattered and diffused. That's what you're saying. Let go of all those habitual diversions, and you've made so important. It's time to go work on the priority you choose and let it flow. The practice of staying focused in itself a meditation. And this is how you can best express the gifts of service you have to offer to the world and to your creator.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah.
And the other things that's connected to that is the messenger, perspective, detachment, and swiftness.
Mm.
So going back to those things that serve you, that is how you're going to be able to re-energize yourself. Start there, back with your self-care and focusing on that.
Mhm.
So how does that sit with you, Santa?
That's it. I know that's it. And the distractions are not just distracting me from what's next, it's distracting me from what's necessary for me, right? Like the things that feed me.
Mhm.
Oh,
Which goes back to, as I watched you physically touch your heart.
mm,
You got to go back. What satisfies you, what fills you,
mhm,
mend that back. And then in that decision, you can have the clarity and the wisdom in order to know that it's just going to flow to you. Your book clubs and how the women, the community, and how that connects. It's just going to look a little different than
mhm,
how it looked um, from before.
mhm,
But that is the guidance that
mhm,
that
mhm.
Emmanuel's kind of giving you.
Yeah, that's it. Thank you so much.
It's
That
all
reminder and encouragement. And almost like it's not optional. I feel like, Santa, this is not optional. This is medicine that you need to take.
hmm it serves you. I mean, you've talked about it like all the beginning. This is what the energizing. It's just not about talk. So you got to do all those physical things, and that may be going back and finding your dance class. It might be going back, like all those things that you did before.
So,
Santa still needs.
yeah,
But
that's
that's the thing. As we go back to the healer, right? Usually, oftentimes, what our issues is we start working and caring for everyone else all the time, and then we get busy, and then we're like, oh, how am I going to take this time and do the things that I want to do? But you got to eliminate the distractions, and you got to choose what your priorities are. And it's okay to release things from your life. Absolutely. If you're
mhm,
looking for it, if you need permission, you got it.
yeah. The golden healer. Tell me what stone that was again.
Yeah, the golden healer quartz.
Quartz.
hmm And going off camera for a second. Like I said, because this one's the personal, so you have it. So because this resonates because you're in line with this. So it goes to
Mm,
everything happens for a reason, because we talked about, I forgot that this is even a purpose for this, but you talked about the money and the income and the flowing. Golden healer quartz, this is what it says: attracts abundance, prosperity, success, eases stress, anxiety, helps break bad habits, release negative patterns and behaviors, especially in relationships, raises vibrations, brings powerful healing of body, mind, and spirit.
go get me one today.
There you go. There's your final message. Go get you. Like I said, because usually this is mine. Like the one for my guest is usually on my left, but this card connected all the way out right next to this, like I said, beautiful golden
Mhm.
energy, which
Mhm.
you have in all of this. So
Yeah.
awesome. Well, thank you so much, Santa, for coming and being a guest on All Intuitive Conversation and allow me this opportunity to get to know you. Thank you for those that have joined in with us live and connected with us. We appreciate that so much. And so we've had Brian join us today. Awesome. Thank you, Brian. And we also had Lynn, aloha, Lynn, join us today. And so, as you have watched this and you have been encouraged, like, hey, I'd like to have a conversation as well with Felicia, feel free to come and do that.
Mhm.
Um, Reach out to me to Sevenfold. If I can get the comment, there we go. Sevenfoldcoaching.com. And until we meet again next time, this has been an all intuitive conversation.